we're bringing you all you need to succeed in the real estate business. It's Spilling the LTea, brought to you by Lawyers Title, telling you what it's really like to work in real estate.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamera. Today, we're going to talk about how to win in the 2023 DFW real estate market. But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So let's get a conversation going about your title needs. Today's guest, I've had her on the show before. I'm very excited to have her back. This is Stacey Feltman. She's with the Stacey Feltman Group, and she and her team did over $70 million in production last year. So you're going to want to hear what she has to say. Thank you for coming back to the show, Stacey. Always have pleasure having you on. You're one of my favorite guests. So I think, have you been on 2 times now?
2 times.
Yeah, one of my very favorite guests. You were one of my first guests, too, like at the very beginning when I started this thing. So
I was a little guinea pig.
Yeah, you did a really, really good job. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing I kind of want to talk about is let's discuss where we are right now. Today is May 3rd. Okay. So we're into second quarter, of course.
Yes.
And so let's kind of talk about where we are in Collin County in the real estate. Well, we can talk about the Metroplex right now.
Absolutely.
Thoughts?
So November of last year, we paused in a big bad way.
Oh, I know we paused. I didn't like it at all.
because of interest rates. So about 4 to 5 weeks ago, the market just all of a sudden picked up. I think buyers came to the conclusion that the interest rates are here to stay. They're going to go up, they're going to go down, but the market has moved very quickly back into multiple bid situations.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. Multiple bids. Are we talking everywhere, or are we talking in certain part of towns? What part of town are we talking about?
So North Dallas area.
Okay.
I have listings in Fort Worth, and they're longer on the market, 30 to 60 days, even if you price right. But per se, Frisco. Let's talk about Frisco.
Oh my God, Frisco has got so much to talk about.
So I did an analysis in the last 30 days. Things going over list are going from 1% over list to 18% over list.
18% over list.
So I did a contract with my team, $65,000 over list price, and it made appraisal.
What was the price point?
In the 600s.
Were you the one that talked about the 90,000 over ask?
And we did that
in the mastermind. When you said 90,000 over ask,
yes,
I was like, here we go again.
No, but we're making appraisal. We do appraisal packages as a buyer's agent. We do that.
We'll get to that when we talk about contract tactics.
Absolutely. So we're getting the contracts accepted. It's all about how you present.
Yeah. 90K, 65, 85K. Okay. So, and I had this conversation with a realtor on Monday. What I think is interesting, I mean, obviously we can tell that consumers are adjusted to the new interest rates. And this is where we are now, right? And so these multiple offers, multiple showings, over list offers, it's our inventory problem.
Absolutely.
Do you want to touch on why we have an inventory problem?
So sellers are not wanting to sell because their interest rates that they currently have is so low. We're having a problem with the new builds, actually.
Yep.
I have a new build contract that has been on our books for 23 months.
Are you serious? And it's not
it is not done. Hopefully it's closing at the end of this month. But that is a long time to wait. New builders are doing escalation clauses. So when you close, depending on what builder you're at, you might sign a contract for $500 and then you're closing at $625.
$100?
Yeah.
Is that a real scenario?
Absolutely. And buyers are saying, no, sorry. And the builder's okay with that because they're able to get it with buyer number 2 at that price.
I've been hearing some noise on some of the real estate Facebook groups about escalation clauses.
Yes.
And I didn't know that it makes sense that builders are using them.
Builders can. We can actually too. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay, explain, because I've always been told that escalation clauses are illegal. Everybody wants to say illegal.
Yeah, no, and they are. If an agent does it, we can't even in special provisions on a contract do legal mumbo jumbo lingo. If we hire an attorney and an attorney with our offer, we present it, with the escalation clause. And
Okay,
it's legal.
there you go. All right.
Yep.
That is what I've always heard. I didn't know that anything had changed there, but
Yep.
there's a lot of questions about escalation clauses. Again.
Absolutely. Hire an attorney.
Hire an attorney. That's
Yep.
the answer. If you need an attorney, I got an attorney. Lawyer's title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've talked about the lack of inventory. We know that builders are having some trouble getting back online after they paused. We also know people don't want to sell their houses because they don't want to get out of their interest rate. Well, I
Right.
would also think that part of that is also they overpaid for the house. They're not going to be able to get their money back out. Necessarily
Absolutely.
get their money back out, depending on how much they overpaid. We're having that trouble in my neighborhood. People are wanting to, they're attempting to sell their house,
Yeah.
and then they want a waiver to be able to lease a house prior to the 2 years that they've owned it and lived in it, which is part of our
Really?
CCRs, right? And I'm like, I don't know.
But, you know, the funny thing is we do have several clients that have to sell within a 2-year period. So they've only owned the house less than 2 years. And, you know, they're concerned about, you know, paying the government with owning it less than 2 years. But we're able to get them a profit still.
Well, my neighborhood needs to call you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so anything else notable about the current market right now that we didn't touch on? I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to dig into some, because what I found was more unique, not completely unique, but more unique to you and your team were the strategies that you guys implemented during the super aggressive market. Some of those tactics are back. You're going to have to, you're redeploying those tactics again, right? You pivot, now we're pivoting again. And you were always very, very skilled at getting your offers accepted. Okay. And so you weren't having a lot of issues with your houses not selling and your buyers not finding homes. Whereas I know a lot of other people struggle with that. So let's talk about creating a winnable offer. Okay. So we'll start with buyers and then we'll move on to sellers. Okay. So how do you create that? And I know everything's specific to properties and stuff, and the terms are specific, but how do you approach crafting that winning scenario for your buyers? You want to unpack that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So earnest money is refundable in different portions of the contract.
Right.
Everyone does the 1%. Absolutely fine. We increase it to the 2%.
Okay. So 2% on earnest money.
Yep. The number one thing that is the biggest skin in the game is option money and option days.
Okay. Well, let's clarify, because a lot of people were getting rid of option period during the last, which I never was a fan of that. So you do put in an option period.
Absolutely.
Absolutely have an option period. Okay.
Yes. Unless I'm working with my investors and
that's different.
On a showing, they go in and see that everything's fine. They're good as is. But no, I would never instruct one of my buyers to go in blindly.
Good girl.
Absolutely. It's all about protecting our client through the whole entire process.
Okay. Do you shorten option? I mean, typical option is what, 5 to 7 days? So do you shorten it down to
3
like 3 days? And you've got an inspector lined up that's going to get their behind out there and get your inspection done?
Absolutely.
Okay. 3-day option.
3 days. Couple $1,000.
Couple $1,000. Okay.
If you want the house, we'll get you the house. You're just putting the money up front, and guess what? It's credited back at the closing table.
It sure is. However, a lot of people are scared to put down that level of money. But you know what? I think that it's super interesting, that higher option fee money. I also think it keeps your buyers from playing games.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I see something else in there, Stacey.
No, we set our expectations with our clients.
Sure.
From our buyers to our sellers, my number one thing I always say is set the expectations up front.
Like what? Be more specific.
Do you want to buy? Do you want this house? Is this your dream home? Because my job is to find making dreams a reality.
Yep.
That is my tagline. I want to find you your dream home. Is this it?
So you know,
when the buyer walks in the house, you can
tell.
Absolutely. From the front door in, if it's the house for the buyer.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because when I bought my first house, my realtor, we were looking
forever.
Yeah. So many houses.
I'm not going to let you do that.
Well, and it was like I kept trying to make houses work, right? Because I wanted to find the house. Okay?
Right.
I was serious about finding a house. Okay. This wasn't playtime for me. And he said something similar to what you just said. I'll never forget it. He goes, when you walk through the front door, you won't even have to go through the whole house. When you walk in the front door, you'll know.
It's a feeling.
He's so feeling. Right.
Absolutely.
He was so right. I walked through the front door, straight to the kitchen. I was like, and we're done.
And that's my happy feeling when I see that look on my client's face at the front door. I know.
So you didn't have to deal with a lot of these buyers that were going and putting in multiple offers on multiple properties and behind your. Did you have some of that? No, we
did. We had some clients that wanted to put 2 to 3 offers at the same time on the house, and again, setting the expectation. Hey, if the seller on all 3 sellers come back to you and execute with no counter, because I write a perfect contract. I know that sounds conceited, but I don't have buyer's agents ever countering me or listing agents ever countering me. I meant listing agents countering me.
So you better be ready to go.
Okay, so then you lose your option money if they don't counter.
You lose that option money. I love the high option fee because it helps everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's after that? So we've moved. We got the 2% option earnest money. We got the 3-day option period. We got the $2,000 option fee. Then where do you move to in the contract after that to create that?
Then we move to title.
Title policy.
Who's going to pay title?
Well, depends on the market, right?
If it's a multiple bid, you don't even question.
Right.
It's buyers.
Yeah.
So as a listing agent, I'm getting contracts in multiple bids. They know it's multiple bid and they're still wanting the seller to pay the title policy. You're not going to win a contract like that.
No, you're not.
No. And then, the
home
shortages
warranty.
in the
survey's next.
Yes. Title survey. So that is always a buyer expense no matter what.
Sure.
You want to pay that extra insurance to secure the survey that's on the table, especially if you're getting a pass-me-down survey.
Okay, so you're talking about 2 things. There's the actual survey, and then there's the additional insurance coverage. I'm in title and I forget what the fee is.
It's the shortage. So it's always under 150.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking 150. And so you encourage your clients to go ahead and do that, which protects them. I think that's great. But all of that's at the buyer expense anyway. So where else do you go to create these offers to win in the contract? Is there anything else notable? I mean, I know we have talked about appraisal waivers.
You waive the appraisal. You waive the appraisal and you waive the home warranty. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah,
I do. I feel so bad for all the home warranty companies during this time. But again, we are agents. We can give closing gifts and we can buy them for our buyers. We can tell our buyers to buy them themselves. We don't go without. We want our clients protected. I'm all about protecting the clients.
Amen.
As you see that. So I want them to win the house, but I want them to be protected on all aspects.
I have friends that are home warranty reps, and it's just
I know. They took a hard hit.
Brutal.
Absolutely.
And then I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I was a home warranty rep.
But
thank you, Lawyer's title.
So I learned this as a listing agent, and I give it back to my team, and I'll give it back to everyone here. Do not submit an offer copying a listing agent through your .loot system or your DocuSign system. You know how many offers I get with no calls, no texts, and I'm just copied on the electronic copy when the buyer signs it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you're just basically kind of receiving a PDF.
So buyers
with no intro, no hello, I have an offer on your beautiful seller's property. Just mystery email.
I feel like calling that buyer and be like, do you know how your agent's really representing you? It's horrific. It's horrific what we see out there. So with our team, we have a template.
Yeah.
So you're putting the summary of what the offer is in the email to the agent. You're putting the lender information, email and contact,
so they can verify
telephone, so they can verify. I'm giving a little blurb and not going against anything about my client and how they fell in love with it and something about the home, you know, because a lot of virtual tours are going on. So I want them to know my client has fallen in love with it.
And actually saw it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that followed up by a call, followed up by a text.
Okay.
So I'm creating a relationship with the agent on the other side. That is vital.
Do you feel like when you know the agent on the other side and you're like, score?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so then there's new agents that I come in contact with submitting me offers. And when I see them fighting for their client, the client wants it. It's going to be a smooth transaction. It shows me that we're going to have great communication.
I love it. So I think that so you went through the things in the contract that are essential to win in the offer.
Yes.
Just to kind of recap
And
really
how to
quickly.
present it.
And how to present it. I love the survey, the summary email that you send ahead with the offer. Don't just,
and do it in a one PDF. Don't give me 5 or 6 different PDFs of the 1 to 4 to the third party to the put it all in one PDF. I put offer instructions out. I try to make it easy for all buyers agents presenting, just how I teach my agents on my team how to present. Girl, there's a lot.
It just makes my type A OCD go bananas. Yes. One PDF, please.
Yes.
Okay. So let's so is there, we talked about the contract. We talked about your summary with one PDF, contact information, lender contact information, so they can verify that your buyer is qualified. And then you follow up with a phone call and a text to let them know that you had sent the offer. And so it's really, you're just kind of building the relationship after that, trying to get them to accept your offer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's flip to the listing side really quick.
Yes.
What do you look for? I mean, it may be a lot of the same. It's going to be a lot of the same question. I don't even know that I like this question because I was going to ask, what do you look for in a winnable offer? What you just said. One of my offers, what I just said.
In a winnable offer is not always about price.
You are correct.
It comes down to the agent on the other side, like we discussed, and the terms.
Okay. Is there anything in particular other than what you mentioned that you're looking for to accept an offer inside of the contract, other than what we talked about already, that you do on the buy side?
A perfect offer like I write, I expect as a listing agent. So when I do my Excel worksheet, apples to apples, when I'm presenting offers to my sellers, I have a little notes column.
Okay.
And it's, this agent never called, this agent did this agent left blanks within the contract that didn't fill out. I get broker pages with just my name and their name.
Y'all just fill out the contract. I know. Fill out the contract.
Yeah. If you want to leave it blank, not applicable. If you want to leave it blank, 0.00.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some of the conversations that you have with your sellers and the buyers. Okay. So, and I'm kind of going towards the direction of realistic sales price, showing prep. And what you did something really unique. I don't know if it was unique, but it was the only time I heard about it. When the market was super crazy and you had showing day, you were putting your clients in a hotel.
Oh, absolutely. I told them to move out for the weekend. You're going to have a wonderful staycation and I'm going to sell your house. Yay.
Because let me tell you something. I've only sold one house. I try really hard not to sell houses. Okay. I want to hoard them all for myself.
Yep.
And I sold one and it was horrible. It was horrible. It was like, you have to get out of your house in 30 minutes. I'm like, hey man, I'm in my jammies. I got to make it. I don't have Braun, my dog. And, like what? I'm working.
Well, when I see a family that has kids and toys all over the place, dogs, dog hair, cats, the smell of that. We want to get in and we want to move them out for a little while and get their house sold.
Such great. Wish someone had told me to go get a hotel. Anyway, so let's talk about the conversations. Like what does your conversation look like when you sit down with the seller that they've already agreed to work with you. You're not trying to compete over that. We've moved past that. Okay.
Yep.
So, well, actually, people would probably like to hear how you win those conversations. But let's talk about the conversation that you have with sellers, setting expectations.
So we go back to the front door. And I say, I'm putting on my buyer's agent hat right now. And I'm going to pretend I'm a buyer walking in with their agent right now of what I'm seeing that we need to change before photography ever comes. And photography, you know, we do virtual staging. We do real staging. We need paint. We need carpets cleaned. We need all countertops. I mean, I go room to room and I make them do a notebook. And this is what I'm telling you to do. Okay. I will not have photography in here until everything is done on this.
Because you want to, I mean,
I need prestige. Yes.
You need it to move. We're teeing up to move as fast as possible, right?
Now, granted, y'all probably saw some listings that I had no control over because some sellers don't have that luxury and the money or the time to do that. So, you know, sometimes we just have to go with what we have. There's photography companies out there that will take what's in a home and stage it in different ways and add to it, change furniture around.
Oh, that's cool. So you're not paying to bring furniture and stuff in. I like that. Okay, let's talk about how you get them to set a realistic sales price.
So our system with my brokerage has a CMA program that I've never seen out in any other brokerage, and it's actually produced by appraisers. So it sets us a suggested list price. Okay. With the market shifting, like in a multiple bid situation, there's 3 kind of figures that are given to us. I never go with the suggested list price. I go with the low, high adjusted average. So there's 3 things when I walk into a home, I know if I'm listing at what level I'm listing it at, what they're willing to do. So it is key on. So like if there was a railroad behind the house.
Row.
I know. it literally self-adjusts. Do you know how many listing appointments I have gone on and I have seen what the other agents are doing? Guess what they're bringing? A quick CMA.
Row.
So I'm presenting it so they can see where I'm deducting.
Okay.
Do you want it up higher? Well, then this is what you're going to have to do.
Does it specifically, it tells you like I deducted $20,000 because there's a railroad track?
Absolutely.
It tells you line by line what it deducted.
Absolutely.
And so you show that to sellers?
I can write in my own. So I do that a lot. Like this house is remodeled. Yours is not.
Got it.
You are subpar to this one, and this is why.
So do you show them like here's your amount and here's why?
Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. And they can see the pictures.
I don't think we have 2 different.
Yeah, we have 2 different systems. So it's a special CMA system, but there's another system that will take it and show the pictures side by side.
Because what most agents do is they just pull comps, right?
Correct. It's not about that. And I go into my listing appointments and say, you'll have the comps basically within 1 hour after our appointment, because I already have it done on the other side. I just need to put my eyes on this house and see what I'm going to deduct or add.
So when you kind of compare the 2, the program and the comps, like how close are they? Pretty far off in the final price, or are they close?
I will tell you, little props, but the last 3 homes I've sold on a relocation deal, all agents have to come within 5% of sale price, up or down, even in a multiple bid situation. So you have to predict that someone could come in 50,000 over, but you have to be within 5%.
Okay, crystal ball, you know.
So my last 3, right on 0%. Wow. Not up or down, right on. So I'm impressed by the programs that we have.
Do you get any, I mean, what kind of obviously you get pushback from sellers sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time. My house is worth more than
my neighbor, blah, 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 blah. It was a 1-story. You're a 2-story. We don't comp those against each other. They just remodeled their kitchen.
Someday, like, I love y'all so much. I love y'all, but I do not envy your job.
I mean, I go in there and again, another setting expectations.
Yeah.
So my comment to them is, I come from Boston. I'm Boston blunt. So you might not like me at the end of this meeting, but I'm going to give you straight and narrow what you need to do.
Okay. And so they listen to you?
Yes. Or guess what? I have the choice not to have you as my client. It's an interview process.
For both sides,
You're interviewing me.
Yeah.
I mean, I just left a listing appointment. I will not take. I will not put my name to it because they're not listening to me.
Interesting. Okay. And it's not just always sales price that they won't listen to that makes you want to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like, look, we kind of tapped in this a little bit in the mastermind. I made a comment. I wish I could think about it. Because, we all make decisions about if this is a person we want to work with and if this is a person we don't want to work with. We all make decisions about that.
Absolutely.
And you get to a certain level of business, you need to make those kind of decisions. I always feel like if you're keeping somebody that isn't in line with how you work, you aren't working together well, you're missing out on a better opportunity.
Absolutely. When you say no to someone, it opens the door for someone else that is going to respect our profession. It's not an easy profession.
It's not an easy profession. No. So let's talk about specifics that you have with buyers because, in the last aggressive market that we had, we have to call it a name. We have to have a name for it. It's a pandemic market. Let's just call it the pandemic market. During that time, I had a bunch of realtors who didn't even who weren't taking any buyers anymore because they couldn't get buyers into homes.
Right.
You are being very successful at doing that. So let's talk about the conversation and how you set realistic expectations with buyers. I know your team works more with buyer. You don't. You don't do a lot of buyers.
No,
I
do the listings. They do the buys.
Yeah. So, but you coach your team on how to have set those expectations. You're not showing 50 houses and running around all over the place and making offers that aren't getting accepted and things like that. So let's talk about that real quick.
So I'll give a perfect example. So as a team lead, I watch over everything. It's in my name on the contract. So they have to know who Stacey Feltman is. So one of our agents had a buyer, 1.65 list price.
Woo!
Guess what they wanted to offer? 1 million even. So it's amusing out there. Yeah, no. So we have a lot of international buyers in our marketplace, and you got to think about this. Everyone wants a barter.
Sure.
Okay. They want a barter. We go to Mexico. You know how I travel to Mexico all the time on all my cruises. And you go up and you try to barter and get it down.
I do it in Round Top all the time.
Not 38%
Was it
Frisco.
Priced fair market value?
Ma'am.
It was priced right. Ooh.
Yes, ma'am. 38% below. So what I tell the agent is, tell them you'll write the offer. Tell them it's not going to, come to fruition, because in the state of Texas, when we do an offer, accept, counter, never respond, or decline, you have a 50-50 chance. You want the accept or the counter. You do not want the decline or never respond because you're blackballed at that point.
I don't like the no respond. I wish just
I know.
Just at least respond and just say, hey, man, go jump in a lake.
And I don't think ever in my history I haven't got a response or I haven't responded. It's an ethics thing that you do out of common courtesy for the other agents in the area. But so I said, submit it. You've had the conversation. He is unrealistic at this point. Submit it. We have our buyer representation documents all signed, sealed, and delivered. And then tell them it's my name on the contract. And guess what? We're having a sit down. No other contract is going to leave under my name until I sit down with that buyer. So you let them submit a $65K below ask offer. Yeah, but we're calling the listing agent and saying, I am so sorry. This client is so unrealistic. Stacey is going to talk to this buyer.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
So I sit down and I have the come to Jesus with them. It's never going to happen again out of my company.
Got it. Okay. So what else do you talk to your agents about and how to work with buyers? Anything else in particular? I mean, unrealistic offers is one thing, but
well, I mean, I need them to know about the appraisal waivers. Appraisal waivers, when you're in a multiple bid situation, you're not going to get accepted unless you're fully waiving the appraisal.
How far off do you see it right now between the list price or even the offer, the list price, and then where their appraisals are coming in? Have list prices caught up?
So again, we do an appraisal package as a buyer and a listing agent.
Okay.
So
you're working.
We're working
program.
it. Mm-hmm. They always call me the agents on the road. Hey, they want to do an offer. What do you think we can go over? And I'm running my numbers, and I tell them, you can go 50 over. You can go 65 over, like the 90
because
I did.
Of that, all because of that program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You tell me offline what that is.
Yeah.
Little secret gold nugget here. Okay, so you're not really having to submit offers unless the person is off the rocker.
And lenders come into a big part of this.
Okay.
So some buyers, and I understand this. Some buyers only want to put 5 or 10% down, 15% down. They want to save their cash. Understand. But if you're pre-approved for 20% or higher, that's the pre-approval I need for my buyers. Do not submit an offer at 5 or 10%. If they're financially capable, they should have a 20% or higher pre-approval.
Even if they're not going to put that amount down.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's showing you're capable.
Okay.
But at the closing table, what's it matter? I mean, the seller's getting the same net.
Yep.
But my buyer's able to keep money in their pocket. It's not doing anything seedy.
Okay, I like that. That's a good little golden nugget, you guys. What else? Anything else you got? Little tricks and
just explaining to them and working with our local lenders to see how much gap that they can cover. Because a lot of lenders, if there's a gap of $50,000, lenders rework the loan. They're not actually coming out of pocket that $50,000.
Sure. Okay. Any other, before we wrap up, any other last minute advice that you want to talk about or give? Okay.
Sorry.
Can't wait.
But in the contract, even though it says put seller and buyer information in the notices section, and now there's a new thing that actually you copy the buyer's agent or the listing agent, their email address. Don't do it.
Okay.
And you're supposed to put something. So what Stacey Feltman Group does is on each side, contact information provided to title.
Okay.
When I'm giving lawyer's title, because all my contracts go to lawyer's title, yay. All my contracts come to you. My transaction coordinator is immediately putting in, if it's a buyer or a seller, their email address, their contact information, their telephone numbers.
Yeah, and I get why agents don't want to disclose that.
So in these crazy markets, you're protecting, again, I'm always protecting my clients.
Sure.
It's a protection for them because people will stalk them on Facebook, Instagram, try to contact them and go and try to have a conversation with them.
It's terrible. Our official CE class, right? You're like, you need to put the buyer on the side.
Yeah, but you're actually, our lawyers at EBI tell us to put the information.
They do too.
Absolutely. But within 2 minutes of execution, you guys have that information.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So what's
we don't need it in the contract.
Correct.
But that's the official.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I'm saying I gave it to you on the contract, and I do.
Well, and look.
Because your girls will call me if I don't.
Oh, I know they will. But you're not wrong. There were a lot of people, the stalking on the Facebook and the reaching out to your client and all that.
So I just want
that
agents,
stuff is real.
I want agents to present their client's offer in the right way.
Yep.
I want them to protect their client always, because the market gets crazy. And when you're writing of offers here, there, and everywhere to try to get accepted, you can drop the ball, and I don't want anyone to drop the ball.
Nope. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, that she gets deals done. Okay. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
I love you, friend.
I do too.
And so that's another episode for today. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to talk to you about your title needs. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, and you guys make it a great day.